So I wanted to say welcome to all the Zoya attendees here. Thank you so much for allowing us to present today. I'd already started speaking, so I'm going to summarize what I said earlier. I said, Zoya has sent out a wonderful introduction about the reason why we're hosting this webinar today. While there are many long-term investment options out there in the forms of mutual funds, real estate, ETFs, et cetera, there's not that many when it comes to cash alternatives. So we at UI felt there was an unmet need that we wanted to cover, if you will. So we came out with our deposit account or savings account programs, as well as the other important reason was that the community is demanding more and more products and services off of us, and as we get bigger and bigger, we have big goals, big dreams to offer multiple products over the years. So having a capital is extremely important because we have the knowledge, the wherewithal, the expertise to create and design programs utilizing Sharia board and other attorneys and law firms, etc. But the capital has to come from the community. So we came up with this. With our deposited savings accounts that we're going to educate you today a little bit about how they work, and the purpose and how they're different, and then we could take the Q&A at the end, which hopefully will cover a lot of questions beforehand. So there should be whatever is left to cover, we'll cover after that. Joining me today is Julie Brzezinski. Julie is the president of UIF Corporation. I report to Julie, but we work together on a lot of the functions that we offer at UIF. Her expertise and mine align very well, very complementary skills. Julie has tremendous background, probably one of the women, I would say, in the United States who knows more about Islamic financing than almost any human today, because she works not just with the Sharia board and scholars in fulfilling what their requirements are, but also working on the back end with investors and regulators and so on and so forth. So she brings a 360 view of the entire industry. So I'm very happy that Julie has decided to join us and be part of this presentation. Julie, I'm going to have you do a quick introduction of yourself, and then I can dive into my slides. So go ahead, please.
Sure, Jazz. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone, depending upon where you are. Thank you for having me today. It's great to be alongside you, Ajaz, just sort of sharing with the community what we're doing at UIF. Just really quickly, as Ajaz said, I am the president at UIF. I've been with the organization almost 25 years, 2 decades of which have been 100% solely devoted to all things that UIF has been doing. And so it's sort of just been my absolute focus over that time period. I would just really quickly would just say I was just humbled and honored to receive some recognition from National Mortgage Professionals who had recognized me, not only me, but really the UIF team for what it's doing with innovation and helping Muslims in the U.S. With their home ownership. And so I'm just really grateful for our work being recognized nationally. So, but anyway, also I'm a graduate of the University of Michigan. I have to throw that in there. Go Blue! And to any alumni, I say go Blue. And anybody who is not alumni, please don't hold that against me in the webinar today. But anyway,
sounds good. We all know you're a big Blue fan. So, but Julie also has been with the faith-based Islamic financing. And for those of you who don't know, UIF stands for University Islamic Financial, which is we're a 100% pure faith-based private company. We're not a bank. We exist purely to provide financing and other products, inshallah, as we launch them. But Julie's been from day one, since UIF was launched, she's been part of the UIF and running UIF team. I joined about 14 years ago now. And then we have very many amazing people who helped us grow this brand and this company over the years. My background, very quickly, I'm going to start at the bottom. I started as an entrepreneur at 21 years of age, built a few companies, sold them, went to work on Wall Street. I was with UBS Asset Management, and then with Morgan Stanley. I was with Solomon Smith Barney, that actually ended up being bought out by Morgan Stanley. That's when I left. So I'm very familiar with Zoya and what Zoya is trying to do, and I highly, highly recommend and a big supporter of Zoya. in terms of what you guys do out there in terms of bringing alternatives and education to the community. I went to work for one of our competitors for a little bit, and then eventually I made my way to UIF here, and it's been an amazing journey for the last 14 years. Couldn't be more happier and thrilled of what we've built over here. I would say that we're celebrating our 20th year anniversary, but I've been part of it for the last 14, so it's been an amazing journey. UIF, very quickly, private company, as I said, we offer multiple products. We've done over 6 billion in home financing originations. So we've done over 100 million. I'm just these some numbers I'm throwing. Probably this is an older slide, so we've probably gone way past these numbers. But nonetheless, that's a kind of a footprint, if you will. We don't serve for home financing in every state because each state requires its own license. So we're in 32 states when it comes to home financing. But for the deposit and savings accounts, you can be in any 50 state, doesn't really matter. And then you can work with us. So that home financing, very clearly, that's only in the 32 states that we offer. But for home or for other products, commercial, masjid financing, we can do in other states as well. So I'll be happy to connect you with somebody who can help you answer questions in that area. What is our goal? Basically, we operate with two goals. One is we want to be a one-stop shop for anyone who wants riba-free financing and banking options. And second, equally important to us is do good, be good. We don't believe in bashing anybody, bashing competitors. That's a strategy that some competitors want to follow, but we don't. We believe, do good by each other, be good to the community, and good things will follow. And that's the philosophy we have at our company, and it has worked extremely well for us in making us a national brand and a leader in almost every segment we operate in. So that's kind of our goals. One question we always get when people find out what I do after asking question, how does your Islamic financing programs work? Invariably, the next question usually is, well, where do you get your money from? And my answer, very simply, is we need to raise it because it's a community product. So we need to raise the money so we can invest in financing programs and invest in our community. So how do we do it, right? We felt there's no need for us to rush into launching another mutual fund or ETF that comes with its own sort of complexities and management skill levels and so forth. And we have limited bandwidth ourselves. So we felt that we would rather go into an area which is more of a blue ocean strategy where others are not doing it, and we can focus more on a product that we can deliver excellence and do well in. So hence came out the UI profit sharing products. And I want to discuss some of the key features, and Julie's going to go into more of the nuts and bolts of how these products have come together. So we offer two types of accounts right now. One is a savings program, and the other is a time deposit account, which is very similar to a CD. It has a term. You can do a 1-year term, a 3-year, a 5-year. A savings account is savings account, full flexibility. You can open an account with as low as $100, and you have ATM privileges, and you can take the money in and out anytime you want. So these are the two products we offer currently. We don't have a checking account right now because we're not ready for that at the moment, but we wanted to start off with some things that we can easily swallow. It's palatable for us to deal with. I talked about a savings account. Minimum account to open is 100. We hope you can open with a lot more than that, but that's the minimum. For our time deposit accounts, similar to CD, our minimum for that is $5,000. For that commitment, you make to us for 1 year or higher. There's a higher profit rate we give you. Obviously, savings account is going to be a little bit lesser. We call them the high yield savings accounts just because we are giving a high yield, and I'll cover some of the numbers towards the end. But bottom line, you can avail either of these options. You can even do a two where you can open a savings account for more liquid money, and you can even do a time deposit account for a higher yielding account and then maybe give us the money for longer, because a lot of our investment projects, our financing projects are longer term, right? When you finance cars, when you finance masjids, when you finance homes, we're putting money out for longer term. So that's why we feel like if you can also consider, parking your funds with us for 1 year or more, then we can give you a higher rate of return. Now, UIF, as I said earlier, we are not a bank. and we cannot take people's money ourselves. So only depository institutions, licensed institutions can hold people's money, banks, credit unions, etc. So we have to go through university bank. We could have gone with any bank as long as they are willing to segregate the funds and allow us to use it. But we want the university bank because university bank is also the parent company of University Islamic Financial, or UIF. So they understand what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, and they're willing to work with the requirements of the scholars, as well as federal requirements, state requirements, whatever requirements have to be met. University Bank understands that, has the expertise to fulfill those, so we can fulfill our mandate to the community as well. So University Bank is a €100+ community bank out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Their ratings are amazing, and again, great standing with the FDIC and other regulatory bodies. So you open the account over there. Both products, as a matter of fact, all our products are approved by AOV certified scholars. I know Zoya utilizes AOV scholars as well. We do too. They're considered the gold standard of Islamic financing institutions. So whether if Goldman Sachs or HSBC or anybody wants to do business overseas, whether it's the Middle East or else, they want to go to one body who is recognized across the board, and that's AOFI. UIF is not only a member of AOFI, but our scholars are all certified through AOFI. These are experts in the field of Islamic finance and investments. They're not just regular day-to-day scholars who can give you, advice and opinions on family matters, but these are scholars who specifically specialize in Islamic financing. So we're very proud of our Sharia board, and on our website we have a whole section dedicated to the scholars' backgrounds, and so you can read it at your leisure later on. Because it's a bank product, each account depositor has a $250,000 principal protection, if you will. So God forbid, even if the bank goes under, what happens typically is FDIC steps in to make good, and other banks take over the account, so you don't lose your capital. This is just like all of you who are on the call today probably have a bank account. When you go deposit money in your bank account with a checking, savings, CD, you expect to get that money back. This is not a risk you're taking on by investing in a business or stock market. You're putting money in a bank with the understanding that whatever return I make on that is whatever, but at least I know my capital is something I'm not going to lose. When I go back to the bank, they have to honor that and give. It's on-demand deposit. They have to give the money back to you. So similarly with us, our accounts come with the FDIC protection, if you will, up to $250,000 per depositor. You can open multiple accounts with a co-applicant that you can increase that $250 each time as you open a new account with an added co-applicant, if you will. But for each depositor comes with a $250,000 minimum guarantee, if you will. Deposit accounts are segregated and utilized for halal financing programs. Julie will get into that. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I'm going to quickly talk about how is this product different? Because this is the question that I get when I do these webinars, seminars. Our community members want to know, well, what is the difference? And I say right off the bat, two major differences. First, how your money is used, and two, how the returns are paid. This is what differentiates us from conventional banks. So how your money is used, right? With a bank, when we deposit our money and we open a savings account or a CD or whatever account it is, you have no control over where the bank is going to be, how the bank uses that money. So they can, obviously, they're not offering Islamic financing options. So every bank offers loans to their customers, whether it's a home, business, a car loan, whatever, and they use our capital, and the money is given out in the form of loans with interest. We don't want to do that. We're using the bank for services, ATM, transferring money, bill pay, etc. But we don't control that. So without our will, our money is going into haram options, which hopefully as Muslims we don't want that to happen. So how does that differ with us? Because every dollar you park with us into our cash alternative programs, the savings and deposit, UIF gets access to it because we use those funds to finance our Islamic financing projects, whether it's home, commercial, masjid, auto, whatever the case might be, right? Whatever need we have to fulfill over there, we do it. So the biggest difference here is how is your money being used, whether it's being haram or whether it's halal, basically. That's number one. Number two, AOFI guidelines dictate very clearly that you cannot do a fixed interest payment because that's haram, because you cannot guarantee not knowing what's going to happen. So our programs are based on a variable profit sharing. So we have to give you a anticipated or a projected target rate because that's required. It's a bank product that what you can expect to make by parking your money with us. But it's not fixed, it's variable. It could be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. It won't be because generally we are very good at projecting what we can give you. So if we're telling you we're going to give you, let's say, 4% on your time deposit program, we know what we're going to be making by investing this money into our financing programs and putting aside for loan loss reserve, et cetera. We know what we can give you. So when we give you a target return or anticipated profit rate, we'll deliver on that because we have multiple lines. We don't depend on any one line because we have multiple lines from home, commercial, Masjid Auto. We have money coming in, income coming in, profits coming in, and we can share that dividend with you. But it's variable. If the portfolio performs very poorly, losses, then yeah, the returns might fluctuate, might go down. But generally, that's our target rate is what we're going to go after. Sharia compliant is approved by AOFI scholars. Obviously, regular bank accounts are not approved by scholars. We spend a lot of money on this auditing, etc. So this is a difference, obviously, because of nature of a product. One thing that I'm very proud of is the long-term community benefit that our company, I don't think, appreciates as much. Islamic financing companies support our community. UIF each year spends over $300,000 plus, maybe more, it helps supporting our community, sponsoring events, and so on and so forth, right? We support a lot of the masajid, we support a lot of the community events, etc., which benefit our community. So we do that. When you give your money to a bank, that's not happening, right? And lastly, to me, it's the peace of mind. At the end of the day, our products are designed to give you peace of mind. What are we selling? Anybody can sell you a mortgage or okay, you can open a savings account or deposit account anywhere you want. We get that. But when you come to us, you're coming for the peace of mind that, hey, this is good. These products are going to align with my own beliefs, right? I was hearing an interview of the Rolex CEO one time, and somebody asked him, so how's the watch business? And he turns and says, well, I don't know how the watch business is doing, but we're in the luxury business. So it's a very different mindset that anybody can sell a watch, but Rolex, when you think of a Rolex, you're not buying it to tell the time. It's the prestige, it's the luxury that comes with. Similarly with UIF, when you come to us, you're not just coming for a mortgage or to open an account. It's basically for the peace of mind that hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look at this and say, hey, this person is going above and beyond to fulfill the religious mandate. And I think that's where I think we come in. That's why I work here. That's why many of the UIF employees work here, because it gives us the peace of mind, the satisfaction that we make a halal living. And then for you all, it'll be making a halal return, if you will. I'm going to turn this portion to Julie. So Julie, if you can tell me next, I can go ahead and, I'll start with the first question, if you will, and then you tell me next, and I'll keep going. Go ahead, please.
Sure. This slide really gets into the nuts and bolts, as Ajaz mentioned, and, many of you may not, have questions about this, but we oftentimes get very technical questions. And so I wanted to give an opportunity, for you to hear my technical answers to those things. And so the first thing really is, how do we go about getting approval on our products? And UIF has a longstanding relationship with the Sharia Advisory Board. As Ajaz said, we talked about some of those credentials and those sort of things, and certainly can be found on our website. But we really see them as true partners. So they really help us develop products. It's not so much sort of we come up with something and then see if it works, right? It's a sort of a team approach to developing a solution for the Muslim community, taking a look at all the documents involved, the agreements that we might have even with third parties, or even, for example, our parent bank and that sort of thing, and looking at that sort of that end-to-end process before issuing a fatwa. So it's a very detailed approach, very engaging, and really, for us, it's critical to anything that we offer, right? So we have a prescribed, approach every time we offer a solution to the Muslim community. And then, we have ongoing audits for accountability reasons. We like to say we have really strong ethics and we have good processes and controls in place. But at the end of the day, we've got to make sure that whatever that prescribed process was that was reviewed and approved, is indeed being followed and there's not any variances to that. And so it's sort of a pulse check for us. And so that's something that we do at UIF very regularly. And we also post those audit results as well, just so that the community has that comfort that that's really important to us. As Ajaz said, we follow AOFI standards, and in particular for our products that we've developed on the savings and time deposit side, of zeroed in on the standard number 46. And again, this is a very technical thing for those of you, many of you, may or may not be interested in that, but I wanted to provide that to you in case you wanted to search that out. The next question really is around how is it that the clients of UIF and their funds that are deposited with the bank through this, Halal program or product are segregated from everything that University Bank is doing. And so, I mentioned sort of in the beginning in my bio that I'm also a senior vice president at University Bank, have been working there. And so I have a dual capacity, which uniquely puts me in a position to hold the bank accountable, also educating them and why we need to do this, why we need to follow certain steps and have everything segregated. And so it's really a joint approach there. And what we've done is we have an agency agreement in place with the bank. And so we've asked the bank to hold the funds sort of on our behalf. They're an FDIC insured institution, so they can hold deposit accounts where UIF cannot. And so we have this agency agreement that we have with them. And we've literally put in a separate core, which is a core database or core processing system. So there's sort of two dual systems. And everything that we do that is, touches a UIF customer or a faith-based product of any kind is completely segregated into a completely different core. It has all of its own sort of attachments for online banking and all of those things. Has its own prefixes that are completely different from anything else that the bank has. So it's easily identifiable by staff and by auditors. And then they essentially give us sort of credit for the use of those deposits. And we go out, we provide home, commercial, vehicle financing, and other products that we have sort of on our roadmap. And we've been doing that for many years, and we earn those profits and then share them with you all. So that's sort of the structure that we follow. And so the profit sharing that's given back to the depositors is only specifically coming from those halal contracts that we are out at UIF providing to the community. So lastly, I would just say, we always get the question, how are our rates determined? And Ajaz talked about that a little bit earlier on in the webinar. And really, from our perspective, in consultation with our Sharia advisory board, and also, we've got 2 decades now of risk and returns data that we have. We sort of have our own prescribed credit box. We know our customer profiles, their performance, their payments, losses that we have taken, and so we sort of have a really good idea of what those returns look like overall. And basically, after taking into account our overhead to run the operation, as well as our ownership and sort of their profit expectations, we have a prescribed sort of formula that we share with our depositors, and we just stick with that. So it's worked. We use that, and that's how we determine what our profit sharing rates are on our various different products. So, Ajaz, I don't know if you wanted to pop that bullet point, but I did, cover that answer. And I think these are the most, I would say, technical ones that we get when we talk to folks about what we're doing and how sort of we're connected with a bank, and also how we determine our profits and that sort of thing. So happy to take any questions at the end, Ajaz, but it's all yours.
Thank you. I'm going to quickly touch upon some frequently asked questions. These are probably the 5 or 6 more prominent ones that keep coming up. So I'll cover that. So maybe make the queue less busy, if you will. Well, number one, I get this all the time. Well, why do I need to open an account with University Bank? Well, the reason being that we are not a depository institution. UIF is a private company. We cannot take people's money. So we just like all of you out there, If you need a bank to basically park your money in there, again, for various reasons. Similarly, this is a bank product, and we're not a bank. So accounts have to be open at university banks, so they can be monitored, they can be, dealt with from a regulatory standpoint, etc. So because UIF is not a bank, your accounts have to be open at a bank, and then but we get access to the money, as Julie explained, for investing in our own financing programs. If principal is guaranteed, how is it Sharia compliant? Well, again, goes back to this first question: is the reason the principal is guaranteed is because it's a bank product. It's not an investment product. If later on we launch investment products like a real estate investment trust, REIT, an ETF, a mutual fund, those will not come with the principal guarantee because those are investment products. You're subject to losses when you buy a real estate building or you invest in a business. Yeah, you expect that the money will be going up and down. You could have losses, but this is a cash alternative product. It's a bank product competing with the other savings accounts and deposit accounts at banks, CDs, etc. So this comes with an FDIC guarantee. That's what it is. So that's why it comes with a principal guarantee. Are UIF earnings 100% halal? 100% halal? Yes, the answer to that. We don't do any other products. We don't have any other conventional products we offer or anything. Everything we do is approved by our Sharia board. And before any product comes into being, a lot of the work and time is spent in making sure it's correctly structured, so the community feels comfortable. Because at the end of the day, for us, the brand is what matters. It's not about trying to cut corners or trying to make a little extra money here or there, because if we're in for the long game, we're thinking about 10, 20, 50 years out, like where do we go? What type of products are we going to be launching? And at the end of the day, if you don't have a brand, you don't have the trust with the community, nothing matters, right? We're not going to be here if it's not for that. So everything we do is 100% halal, everything approved. So every dollar you invest with us in our, I call it invest just because at the end of the day, we take it as an investment. We take it that you're trusting us, you're giving us the money to use in these accounts and for our programs. So yeah, it's all halal, and we share those profits back with you. Who can open these accounts? I'm going to just touch upon this because there are certain limitations we have here, and we have some members of our relationship managers from our deposit team also on the call, and they are best equipped to answer these questions. But just a simple answer is U.S. citizens, permanent residents, green card holders, you can open the accounts with us. I found out today on a question somebody asked me earlier, if you're Canadian, can you open an account? Well, if you're Canadian living in the U.S., and working in the U.S. and you can provide the proper paperwork, it can be done. But again, I'm not the authority on this. Our RMs can check with legal compliance if they need to and give you the final answer. But generally speaking, U.S. citizens, green card holders. One question keeps coming up: people who work in the U.S., H-1B1. Unfortunately, we cannot open their accounts at this time. So I just want to put it out there to make it easy for people who are just on a different visa, student visa or work visa. At this moment, we can't really open their accounts. Where are your branches? Well, we have no branches. Basically, we have one main branch up in Michigan, Ann Arbor. Other than that, it's all done online. So it simply comes down to a phone call, a message, a link that comes to you. You complete the information online, and then one of our RM handholds you through the process to make sure things run smoothly, and we open the account for you. So we save a ton of money by not having branches all over the place, and that's why we can offer these high yielding accounts for your benefit. Can I withdraw my money at any time? Well, savings account, answer is yes. And obviously there are some terms and conditions how much you can take out at one time. And again, the relationship managers can answer those questions for you. Time deposit account, it's because it's a term account where, let's just say you do a 1-year term, and each quarter you get the dividend, the profit for that, right? So let's say you do a 1-year term, you get the profit for the first quarter, you get the profit for the second quarter, but in the third quarter you need the money and you actually need the money. That's fine. We can give the money back to you, even though it's a 1-year commitment. We can give the money back to you, but you lose that quarter's profit. So you forfeit that quarter's profit because you're agreeing to a 1-year term. You're getting a higher profit rate for that. So that's why you will forfeit monies fees earned in that quarter if you decide to break it and take your money earlier. But yeah, the money is available to you, so it's not like it's locked or anything. ATM access, yes, 55,000 locations, so you can use your ATM card to withdraw money anytime you want. So, and you have we have an app and so forth, so things that come along with that. Current rates, I'm just going to put it as of today. Halal savings accounts were giving out between 3.74 or higher, time deposit 4.32 APY or higher. These are rates based on when you leave the money in the accounts, especially the time deposit account I'm talking about. The profits that you make, you're rolling that also into our program, so that also earns you profits. So these are basically APY yields. But at the end of the day, like I said, just some general information for you. Our RMs will be happy to get on a call and give you all the details and discuss things with you. I had to put the slide up there about UI because this is what makes me really proud. Everywhere I go, people talk very highly about UIF. Yeah, we certainly had bad experiences. We're not saying we're perfect, but we learn from each experience and we try to get better with each experience. But what we're most proud of is the service. Most of these stars are for our home financing programs, because we've done a lot of, obviously, with the home financing for 20 plus years. Our savings account programs, deposit our baby under 2 years now. We used to do them before, then we didn't need the money, so we stopped for a while, but then we're back on again. So, but most of these are home financing. Some of them are auto financing, testimonials. But in general, we're extremely proud that we have so many, mostly 5 stars or close to 5 stars. I'm a very picky. I'm a big time foodie, and I never go to a restaurant less than 4.5 stars. So if if UIF is a restaurant, I'm 100% going in and trying the food there with all these 4.9, 4.8, 4.7. So we're not perfect, but we're as close to perfection as it can be, right? So we're very blessed that our community supports us, and what they tell us. This is the last slide. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to turn to Q&A now, Saad. But I refer to this as joining the movement, because to me, every one of you on the call today can potentially, if you can open even a small account and become part of our ecosystem. We don't see ourselves as just a company with one product, but we want to bring you in with multiple product lines. We do podcasts for educational reasons. We do Imam testimonial scholarships. We do a lot of different things that benefit our community. So we see ourselves as much bigger than just a transaction vendor or a product vendor. So we call it join the movement. Maybe at least get attached to us by opening a simple account, trying it out, maybe a $100 account, a $500 account, or whatever you want to do, and then become part of our UI family. And then that way, you can stay connected with us and help us and grow us and be part of the celebration. So multiple ways you can connect with us. Feel free to do so. With that said, Saad, I'm going to stop right here by thanking everybody again for being on this call. And Saad, I can take any questions that you see in the queue, and either Julia or I will answer depending on what the question is about. So.
Sure, sounds great. Thank you for the presentation. We're just going to go from the top over here. The first question is it possible to invest in UIF through IRAs or 401k? So I know this is not a investment product, but I'll let you answer that, please.
Not at the moment. Unfortunately, not at the moment. We can't really do it through IRA or through a 401k. Those are usually investment products, mutual funds, etc. But Julie, any thoughts on that? Maybe in the future? I don't know. What do you want?
So I guess I can just jump in. I guess the motivation here is sort of a money market fund equivalent, right? That you can essentially park your uninvested cash into.
Okay, Julie, go ahead.
Yeah, right now it's a direct offering, not through a 401k or IRA platform. That said, certainly IRAs are not out of the question, and sort of on our tentative roadmap, but not today.
Okay. Saad, we are actually we have discussions ongoing with certain larger platforms about potentially maybe offering our product on their platforms for exactly that you mentioned, money sweeping into unused money that is not in mutual funds, etc., sweeping into our accounts. So we are in talks. Maybe I can even say advanced talks, but we're not privy to discuss the names right now. But trust me, we understand the importance of that question, and we are working in the background.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is it possible I can reach out to Julie and Ijaz directly via email? I did drop a link to the chat in the chat where you can sign up and reach out to the UIF team. And then if you want to get in touch with Ijaz or Julie directly, what's the best way to do that? Would that be via email or via LinkedIn?
Yeah, what I would do is if you want to send a message to deposits at my UIF, the team, some members of the team are on that who have access to that email. They will forward it to me. So if you want to just send a message to that and just say please forward to HRs, I'm sure they'll send it over to me, and then I will be happy to answer questions, and I'll get Julie involved if needed. So Julie has a lot on her plate working on multiple things right now. So, but like I said, any message directed to me will come to me, and I will make every effort to answer that question or find somebody who can answer that question for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is there a way to invest in the scheme through 401k? We just answered that, so we're going to go ahead and skip that for now. Can the account be opened by a irrevocable trust?
Julie?
We can open accounts by trust, yes. So we can certainly answer specifically what kinds of trusts and what documents would be required to be able to do that, but we certainly do, yes.
Okay, next question is, can an investor set the limits or withdraw early? Sorry, can an investor set time limits or withdraw early?
So on the savings account, you have full flexibility, so you can withdraw anytime you want. But the time deposit program that is akin to a CD, because we're agreeing to a term, whether it's 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and we are paying you a higher profit rate, that withdraw early comes into play. That if you really absolutely need the capital, yes, you can do it. But as I explained, you will forfeit the profit you're supposed to earn in that quarter. So let's say somebody opens $100,000 time deposit account with us, and let's just making up some numbers for easy math here. You get a 4% return on that. So each quarter you're getting 4% for the year is 4,000, but each quarter you're getting $1,000, for example. So you first quarter and you get $1,000, second quarter and you get $1,000. So you've already earned profit for those 2 quarters. But that's a third quarter. You need the money bad, absolutely. Fine, give us a call, we'll get the money back out to you. So you'll get back the 100 plus the 2,000 earned profit already, but any profit earned for that quarter you're going to forfeit because we have to break it now, and that's sort of you can call it a penalty or whatever you want to call it, but you forfeit the profit of the current quarter you're in, but any earned profit you keep. But so that's sort of the rules, if you will, Saad.
Great, thank you. Any plans to expand outside the US, or can people outside the US open an account with UIF?
Well, expansion plans outside the US need a lot of prayer for that. So everybody on the call start praying. That's one. But number two, it's believe me, as I said, I keep telling everybody, we're a small company with big dreams and goals. So eventually, yes, we try to go and see, well, what's the highest priority product, or where the limited cash that we have, where do we deploy it for the maximum community benefit, and also keeping our shareholders in mind, so forth. So when we look at it from that perspective, there's so much to be done in the U.S. Honestly, some more states, auto financing, the demand has been off the charts. Between just the 4 states we have, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, and Texas now, and then masjids always keep reaching out to us, doctors for their medical buildings, or businesses for their commercial real estate, etc. needs. So we're literally trying to fulfill what we have going. The biggest challenge we have, Saad, and the audience really is raising money. If we can raise enough capital, believe me, we can do more and more and more, whether it's more local US expansion and then future international expansion. So, but again, we are studying, talking, working with some other North American markets as well to see if we can do something. But that's all I can say. Julie, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just say too, Ajaz, that, just for the general, population, in the U.S., we have to really work within a regulatory framework, right, for banking and financial institutions. And so, we have always, had a tried and true sort of pilot process, making sure we have good quality, making sure we've got great controls in place. We're following, obviously, all the state and federal regulations. Because, if we perform well and we have, we ensure that everything is met, we can continue to grow. So we can continue to expand and offer new products, expand to different regions in that sort of thing. So that's really been key for us is not, sort of, I would say a more steady approach, measured approach, as opposed to super fast, just so that we can make sure we have, the regulatory sort of support that would be needed.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is, can you talk more about the CD option and how to go about it? I think we covered that quite a bit already in the presentation. So we will be sharing the link to the full recording after the event. You can certainly check the recording to go through that again. You can also reach out to the team at deposits@myuif.com for more questions. Also, you can visit myuif.com/Zoya. It's a URL that I dropped into the chat. Again, same thing, you can contact the team through that URL and they'll get back to you with more details.
And our website site has a lot of information. Like when you go to our website, and then you click the products tab and you go into the deposit accounts, we have FAQs in there, much more detailed than what I covered today. So a lot of your questions probably will be answered. And then at the end of the day, we're there to serve you. So phone, email, whatever, somebody will reach out to you and talk to you and guide you and handhold you at the end of the day.
Or if you prefer the sort of no-touch process, that's available too. So you can open and fund an account online and just do it sort of in the middle of the night or whenever you're ready.
Right. If you're a loner and you don't want to talk to anybody and you want to, that's totally fine with us. We're not going to judge you. Please go ahead and do that. So.
Great, thanks. The next question is, can we go over the returns? So I know you had a slide that touched on that. I don't know if you want to add any additional commentary to it, maybe comparing it to conventional options.
Are you talking about what the profit rate slide I showed? Is that what you're referring to? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, the best thing would be, see, at the end of the day, the market is very fluid, very dynamic. So I don't want to, that's just a Photoshop of what we're doing today. But I think the best thing would be if you reach out to our teammates at on the deposit side, they'll be happy to give you numbers. We also have some promotions we run sometimes, and also if your deposits are larger dollar amounts, we make certain exceptions to give you a better profit rate. So it is something that if you are putting in 100, and believe it or not, I mean it's a cash alternative program, and I have never seen a place where we get so much money in big chunks at a time from community members giving us 100 and 250. And one of my personal family friends in Chicago here, business, 1.7 million worth, had a business account, didn't want to take any interest. And literally when our product was launched, him and his family members dropped 1.7 million into our accounts. And we had to customize and negotiate pricing for them. Not a whole lot of different, but just a little bit, extra because somebody's trusting us with so much capital. So yeah, so I think best to reach out, and then our RMs can guide and help and answer any questions on the rates.
So similar to that question, there's actually a few more related ones. There's another attendee that asked if is there always a profit, or is it possible to incur a loss as well? Could you explain how it works?
Judy, you take this one.
Yeah, I would just say that there is certainly, a chance where we would not pay a profit if we took, for example, significant loss. Let's say there's an economic downturn. We have some of our Muslim homeowners that, end up having to foreclose or whatever the case might be. If there were losses in our financing portfolio, we could, not pay a profit sharing. This is sort of part of the reason why it's variable, right? It's not a guaranteed profit sharing program. That's part of obviously what's unique about this, right? That there is sort of that risk that you may not earn any profit sharing. That said, as I mentioned,
do we pay less too? Not necessarily.
Sure, less or more, right? So it just all depends on performance and the kinds of contracts that we have and that sort of thing. And we, as I mentioned before, we sort of have a formula that takes a lot of things into consideration. But we pretty much have a really good idea, a steady idea, because we've got a lot of data. We've got 10, as I mentioned, two decades of performance data. So we have a really good idea what we are comfortable sharing. And if there were something out of the ordinary, yes, it could result in not having profit sharing.
Yeah, and we've been through cycles, right? We've been through the the 2000, 2007, 2008 crisis, the banking crisis, the COVID, the this, the that. So we're battle tested. And then we, like Julie said, we've seen how our portfolios perform. As a matter of fact, they perform incredibly well. So even though, yes, we have to account for loan loss reserves and stuff like that, we have to prepare for the worst, if you will. But at the end of the day, we also realize that, hey, we know what we're generating in terms of profits from our investments in these financing programs. And hence we can give you this. And we want to give you that because at the end of the day, it's all about trust. Banking, finance, investing, it's a trust product. If we tell you we're going to give you 4% and we don't give you 4, give you 3.5, people will even remember that. Hey, well, they told me 4, but I got 3.5. So our idea here is to try to get you to that point where we are giving you, and because we have multiple venues or avenues of income, we pretty much adhere to that. So, but yeah, technically speaking, it's a variable contract. If we have losses much more so than we thought, you might get less or maybe not even anything.
So just to be clear about the question, the user asked about incurring a loss. And so
To the
So-
capital, you mean, Saad? Is that the way?
exactly. So I think it's worth clearing up that the
Yeah.
principal is always protected by FDIC insurance.
Yes.
The only risk is that the profit may vary, right? Sometimes it'll be less and presently more. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly right. Like just like your bank accounts that you have right now, when you put money in a bank, you expect to get the money back. Same thing with us. That money will be there. It's just that maybe your profit could be a little bit less, a little bit more maybe, but generally that's what that. But the principle is protected. Yes.
Got it. Another question is the rate is being offered a fixed one or does it change? We already addressed that. It is a variable rate, so it does change with time. Let's see here. Can I open a savings account for my kids under 10 years old now?
Yes, you certainly can. We do open accounts, so you can open an account for a 10-year-old as long as there's an adult on the account with them. But yes.
Great. The next question is, so when I open a savings or CD account at University Bank, do I need to mention anything about UIF? How does that work?
When you call or contact us, if you go to our website, myuif.com, you can open an account right on there. That's sort of like all things, profit sharing, faith-based, I would say, right? If you were to call University Bank cold, I would just say that, I'm interested in the Halal savings account. All the folks there understand what that is, are very, very involved and engaged and can support that. But at the end of the day, today, we sort of make sure that we can have everyone contact us. We also have an email, deposits@myuif.com. We have folks that worked in banking for several years and they know, how to answer your questions for you and how to help you open the account if you need that.
Great, thank you. Next question is, why is the payout percentages very similar to interest rates countrywide?
Why is the profit payout similar? Is that what you're asking?
Right. So I guess what they're asking for is why does the profit rate look very similar to interest rates?
Yeah. That's a great question, right? We even get that question in the home financing side all the time. I've done probably 1,500 seminars, webinars on this. Why are even your mortgage rates kind of similar to what I would get outside? Well, the answer is very simple, right? At the end of the day, when we, as a business, when you offer a product, you have two factors to keep in mind. One is your own input costs and what it's going to cost you and your profitability expectations and so on, like any business, right? And the other is competition. You have to compete. If you don't compete, you're not going to be able to do business. So just like, if you're a halal chicken vendor, if the price of the chicken itself goes up, I don't care if you're doing halal or not halal, your pricing is going to move up or down based on the input costs of the raw materials. Similarly with us, we're in our field here, we're competing on two sides here. For our deposit customers, we're trying to give them a competitive rate that if they were to go to a bank, they don't come back and say, well, the bank is giving me so much more, you're not giving me less, so then we're going to lose business. So we want to make sure we appeal to them. But on the other side, we have customers who we are catering to, who are calling us for auto financing, for home financing. If we don't compete over there, then they'll go to regular banks too. So we're trying to balance that both sides, where we have to know what we can charge up front and what we can deliver to our investors. So we always almost have to compete and keep an eye on what the banks are doing, so we don't lose out to business to them. So it's a complex, complicated, model, but it's very simple when you look at it from that perspective. That things we have to match. We have to be competitive. Otherwise, we'll run out of business very soon. So that's the answer to that, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see here. Another question is, are the returns taxed as income?
The returns, we see at the end of the day, being in the U.S., we have to use a lot of the government forms. We can't create our own forms. Scholars understand that. They've approved us. So whether it's a mortgage product, if the profit we collect, we have to send it back to them in the form of on the IRS form that allows us for mortgage deduction. Similarly, any profit earned with us also goes to the customer in the form of a tax form. Julie, what is the number on the tax form? Is it 1098T or 1090?
It's a 1099 INT. Yep.
1099 INT form. Yeah. So that's the form that we have to use to let you know how much profit you earn with us. And you will have to pay taxes on it just like you would if you earn interest on your other bank products.
Got it. Thank you. There are two questions about that. So I guess that answered it. The other one was regarding the returns being taxed as capital gains. The answer is no. The government treats it as interest income, essentially. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see here.
But IRS classifies our product. You can structure it from a Sharia way. You can invest it in halal products. You can do variable. You can do any of that you want on the front end. But the IRS says, hey, all Americans have to use the same form depending on, we can go create our own tax forms. Okay, I'm Muslim, I want to make my own. Everybody has to use 1040. Similarly, depending on how the product is classified from IRS guidelines, we have to use those documents. And that's why we have to give you the product. And this earnings on this particular products will be sent back to you in the form of a 1099 INT form, and then you have to pay taxes on that, just like you would on any earned income.
We are coming up on time. Are we okay to run for another few minutes? And
I'm okay. Julie, you have a few more minutes, or?
Yep, I can see a couple more.
Yeah, good.
Okay, great. The next question is the money stored with university banks still part of the fractional reserve?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
Sure. Is the money stored with university bank still part of the fractional reserve? So I think this is where, and we touched on this during the slides, but if you could kind of elaborate on how the funds are segregated from the conventional side versus the Islamic side.
Go ahead, Julie.
We're trying to give it off of mute here. Sorry about that. So what I said before was it's very segregated, right? It is still on. It has to be on University Bank's balance sheet, right? Because they are an FDIC insured depository institution. But basically everything that we have is completely segregated in its own general ledgers and all that good stuff, right? So that we know both internally or mostly internally, right, that we have the specific number of set aside deposit accounts that can only earn profit sharing from these specific financing transactions. And so it's isolated and segregated, but certainly still on the master sort of balance sheet, if you will, of University Bank.
So the way I would look at it is, if you have a big supermarket, right, it serves all kinds of meats and products and produce. But if there is a section that only offers halal meats and so forth, that is just dedicated for that reason. So when you walk up to that, you expect that when I open the freezer and get meat out, it'll be crescent or it'll be whichever is a halal offering. Similarly, over here, the bank may offer other products and services that we have no control over, but our section is purely Islamic. As long as you're opening an account through UIF, that money is earmarked purely for UIF use. So you have to look at it that way.
Yeah, and I would say too that, our whole, at UIF, the ultimate goal is to have a 1-to-1 ratio, right? So ideally you want to have an exact matching balance sheet. We can, from a Sharia perspective, there's certain things that you can or can't do. And so, we are certainly in tune to those things and monitor it accordingly.
One of the biggest challenges, for the community to understand is unlike other products, we can't leverage, right? We cannot borrow against our deposits. Banks can do that. If they're $1, they can probably leverage that to get $10 worth of assets out of that, meaning issue $10 loans on there, etc. But with Islamic financing, you cannot do that. So whatever we raise, as Julie said, 1-to-1, we deploy it to financing programs because we cannot just create money out of thin air. That's a violation of Sharia law. So that's why for us, it's like we can't get 100 million and then leverage that to make it 500 billion. All we have is $100 million to work with. So that's why I keep stressing the community supports. We get more accounts, more money in. We can offer more products and services. Go ahead, Saad. Saad, how about we take the last question because Julie and I both have to get other meetings going. But we'll be happy. Again, my information is up there. They can reach out to you. You can reach out to us. We'll be there to answer all your questions later on as well. So.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just one last question. Are there any limits for the savings accounts? I'm not sure what limits they're referring to.
Dollar amount, how much you can open, you mean? Or what do you mean? I'm guessing that's what
I suppose that's all that they asked. Are there any limitations on the savings account?
Julie, I've read somewhere like our limit per customer is 7 million or something. I don't know if that's something I read somewhere or what, but.
If it's a direct consumer, there is not a limit. No.
Okay. So that's
now, of course, I would encourage you to, if you're concerned with FDIC insurance, visit FDIC.gov and find out, what the coverage would be there, right? Because obviously there's certain limitations on that, but there's not a limitation on what individuals can deposit with us.
So FDIC thing, right? I mean, we all know that we've lived in the last so many years where we've seen a few banks that went out of business, right? Silicon Valley and some of those banks. What the government did is they did, even though some of these accounts had much more than 250,000, millions, okay? The government came in and said, even though shareholders of the bank and the bondholders of the bank might lose, but deposit account holders would not lose. So even though the FDIC was 250 and the accounts had a lot more, they honored that basically. They said, we're not going to lose because that creates a mistrust between the government and the consumers and so forth. So the bank said, no. Even if the FDIC limits were breached at 250 and these accounts held million, 2 million, 10, 50 million, didn't really matter. We're going to make sure all the deposit accounts will be fine. So to 3 or 4 banks that went out of business, again, none of them lost any, none of the depositors lost any money. Their accounts were transferred to other banks and the government made good on that basically. So that's important to remember that. Yes, you have FDIC limits, but at least from what, if you read the tea leaves, the government's not going to let bank deposit account holders lose. I want to end with just one thing, Saad, one final comment I have. This has been a great presentation. When we go and our team knows this more than anybody else, we get attacked mercilessly. The skepticism in the community is always, well, I think it's the same thing. You guys are changing names, etc. I just tell everybody the same. Listen, don't attack us for working hard to serve the community because we know what our intentions are. We don't have to bring these products out. We are bringing it out to serve the community, right? And we know what our intentions are. As one of our scholars, Mufti Abdul Nana, says, at the end of the day, when scholars approve these programs, it's our neck on the line because when the community members come and based on our opinion, on our rulings, they get into these products. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive them just because it's not on them. Their intentions were in the right place. They did it for the right reasons. But if you intentionally go and go into haram loans or regular bank accounts getting interest, then that's on you. It's between you and God. It's not our job to tell you whether it's right, wrong, etc. But at the end of the day, that's your. But this here, at least you're protected in a way because it's our intention in the right place. We're taking the steps to make it Sharia compliant. And at the end of the day, we answer for ourselves. You answer for yourself. Do what's right. Do what gives you peace of mind. And just know this, UIF will be there for our community, helping, supporting any which way we can. And the entire team stands here to serve and support all of you. So with that said, Saad, I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing us this platform to really educate your customer base there. Julie, any comments?
No, just thank you. Really engaging discussion. And I'm just very grateful that the community is very interested in what we're offering and wants to hold us to account. We appreciate that.
And then that's really our goal here with these events is we want to highlight these products, but then also provide a platform for the community to ask the questions directly to the people who are working on these products on a daily basis. We've received a ton of great questions. We have a lot more that we weren't able to get to. So what we'll do is we'll share these questions with the UIF team, and their team can reach out to you and directly address them, or you can reach out to the team as well through their website. As I said, I dropped a link in the chat for the specific landing page that was created for this event, which is myuif.com/Zoya. We will be sending out a follow-up email with additional information. So thanks again to Ijaz and Julie for the insights, and to all of you for attending. If you have any suggestions or feedback on today's webinar, feel free to reach out to us directly. As I mentioned, we'll also be sending a follow-up email with the recording of today's session. Take care, and we'll see you at the next one.
Take care. Assalamu alaikum.